As we wrap up the college football recruiting class of 2022, you may ask yourself, where are the top recruits in the country going? But not only just the top recruits, the 5 stars. If you're interested in learning, stay tuned.
Whose world is this?
The world is yours. The world is yours.
It's mine, it's mine, whose world?
Now, there are 33 5 stars in the class of 2022 recruiting cycle per 24/7 Sports. 29 out of 33 have made things official. So that leaves us with 4. Out of those 4, 1 is committed, but he just hasn't signed yet. And 3 will make their decision in the coming weeks. So I'm going to go over all 33 5 stars. I'll start at the 33rd 5 star, which is technically the lowest 5 star. And I'll work my way down to the first overall player in the nation, which is technically our highest rated 5 star in the class of 2022, according to 24/7 Sports. In each player, I'll break down what position they play, where they're from, and a little brief description of them. So I feel like that's enough talking. Let's get to the players. First, we have Raleek Brown, who's a running back out of California. Now, Raleek is the number 33rd overall player in the nation and the number 2 running back. And Raleek has signed to USC. Now, he was initially committed to Oklahoma, and not just Oklahoma, but mainly Lincoln Riley. So when Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma to go to USC, Raleek decommitted and followed. When Raleek committed to USC, that gave Lincoln Riley a cornerstone type of running back that he can build his program around. There's only one running back ranked ahead of Raleek. So that goes to show you how talented he is. Next, we have the first rated running back, who is Emmanuel Henderson. Now, Emmanuel is the number 32nd overall player in the nation, and like I said, the number 1 running back. And he signed to go to Alabama. The Alabama Crimson Tide needed running backs, so Nick Saban went out and got the top rated running back. The next 5 star is a wide receiver. His name is Chris Marshall, and he's from Texas. Now, Chris is the number 31st overall player in the nation and the number 3 wide receiver. He has signed to go to Texas A&M. Now, Chris Marshall is one of many wide receivers that Texas A&M has signed this year. The next 5 star on our list is Will Campbell, an offensive tackle, and he's from Louisiana. Will is the number 30th overall player in the nation and the number 5 offensive lineman. And he's staying home and going to LSU. So that's great news for LSU quarterbacks, as Will Campbell is a big body who gets lots and lots of pancakes. Our next 5 star is a quarterback, Drew Allar. Now, Drew is from Ohio. He's the number 29 overall player and the number 4 quarterback. And he signed to go to Penn State. Allar is a potential program changer for the Nittany Lions, who is saying goodbye to Sean Clifford after the 2022 season. The next 5 star is a cornerback, Dalen Everett. Now, Dalen is the number 28th overall player and the number 6 cornerback. He signed to go to Georgia, the national champions. Out of all the 5 stars Georgia signed this recruiting class, Everett is a cover corner with elite ball skills. The next 5 stars is safety, Kamari Wilson. Now, Kamari comes out of Florida, and he's going to Florida, as he signed with them on signing day. The next 5 star on our list is Ty Simpson, a quarterback. Now, Ty is from Tennessee, and he signed to go to Alabama. He's a number 26 overall player and a number 3 quarterback in this recruiting class. Alabama has Bryce Young for 1 more year, and then the quarterback room gets very crowded with elite talent. Ty can come in and climb the depth chart if he plays right. The next 5 star on our list is Josh Connery Jr., an offensive tackle out of Washington. He's the number 25th overall player and the number 4 offensive tackle. Now, Josh is our first non-committed 5 star. He's decided between Michigan and Washington, and the crystal ball is going 50-50 in each school's favor. The next 5 star on our list is Marvin Jones Jr., an edge rusher out of the state of Florida. Now, Marvin's the number 24th overall player and the number 2 edge player, and he signed to go to Georgia. Jones Jr. plays a prime position that is much needed in the SEC conference. Our next 5 star on our list is Jaheim Singletary, a cornerback out of the state of Florida. Now, Jaheim was originally committed to Ohio State, but he decommitted and signed with the UGA Bulldogs. Another 5 star for the Georgia Bulldogs. The next 5 star on our list is another cornerback, Will Johnson, and he's from the state of Michigan. Now, Will is the number 22nd overall player and the number 4 cornerback, and he signed to stay in state and play for the Michigan Wolverines. The next 5 star on our list is Mykel Williams, a defensive lineman out of Georgia. Mykel is the number 21st overall player and the number 5 defensive lineman. He has also signed with the UGA Bulldogs. Keonta Goodwin is our next 5 star, and he's from the state of Indiana. Keonta is a number 20th overall player and the number 3 offensive tackle in this recruiting class, and he has signed to go to Kentucky. This is a big get for Kentucky, as they rarely get 5 stars, and they get a big offensive tackle like Hianta can be the cornerstone that each quarterback in the country will want to have. Coming in at number 19 is Connor Weigman, quarterback. Now Connor's from Texas, and he has signed to go to Texas A&M. He's the number 2 quarterback in this year's recruiting class. Coach Jimbo Fisher raved about Connor and what elite arm and elite talent he is. He also believes that the future is bright for the offense at Texas A&M since Connor signed with them. The next 5-star on our list is Harris, a cornerback out of Texas. Now Denver is the number 18th overall player in the nation and the number 3 cornerback. He has also signed with Texas A&M. Denver Harris is an elite talent in the defensive backfield, and this was one of the best gets Texas A&M received, whether they know it or not. The next 5-star on our list is the defensive lineman out of North Carolina, Travis Shaw. Now Travis is the number 17th overall player and the number 4 defensive lineman in this year's class. And he signed to stay home and play for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Travis is the top player out of the state of North Carolina, and this was a huge get for the UNC Tar Heels as they got a cornerstone piece for the defensive lineman in their defense for the future. Our next 5-star is Gabriel Brownlow-Dendy, a defensive lineman, and he's from the state of Florida. Now Brownlow-Dendy is the number 16th overall player and number 3 defensive lineman, and he initially committed to Oklahoma but decommitted and signed with Texas A&M. No program in the country landed more elite talent at the defensive line position than Texas A&M this year. Our next 5-star is Kelvin Banks, an offensive lineman out of Texas. Now Kelvin is number 15th overall player and the number 2 offensive tackle for this year's recruiting class. He signed with Texas on National Signing Day. And this was a huge gift for Texas and Steve Sarkisian, as Kelvin was initially committed to the Oregon Ducks, but decided to decommit once the coaches changed and stay home and play for Texas. Our next 5-star is Malachi Starks, who's an athlete, but I feel like will play linebacker at the next level. He's from the state of Georgia. He's the number 14th overall player in this year's class and the number 1 athlete. And he too signed with the UGA Bulldogs. So I don't know if you guys are starting to notice, but Georgia and Texas A&M are getting a boatload of 5-stars this year. The next player on our list is another edge player, Jeremiah Alexander, who is from Alabama. And Jeremiah is the number 13th overall player and the number 1 edge player in this year's class. And he decided to stay home and play for the Alabama Crimson Tide and Nick Saban. Coming in at our next 5-star and number 12 player in the nation is Shemar Stewart. Now Shemar is the number 2 defensive lineman, and he has yet to commit, but the crystal ball is headed towards Texas A&M. Stewart recently visited Miami, and he's set to make his decision in coming weeks. Insiders believe that Shemar will choose to go to Texas A&M and join a star-studded group for the class of 2022. Our next 5-star is a safety, Sonny Styles, who's from the state of Ohio. Now Sonny is the number 11 overall player and the number 1 safety, and he actually reclassified to this class. He was originally in the class of 2023, but decided to sign this year and head off to college right now. And Sonny has signed with the Ohio State Buckeyes, which is a huge gift for the Ohio State defense and new defensive coordinator Jim Knowles, as they needed a hard-hitting safety in their defensive backfield. Now, let's jump into the top 10. The number 10 overall player in this year's recruiting class, or our 10th ranked 5-star recruit, is Devin Campbell, an interior offensive lineman out of the state of Texas. Now, Devin is the number 1 offensive lineman in this year's class. Devin Campbell will make his final decision on February 2nd and has narrowed his list down to 2 schools, Texas and Oklahoma. Now the crystal ball is leading towards Texas. Now Devin displays impressive movement ability relative to size and is heavy-handed. He shows sterling power punches at times. He has impressive open field athleticism as he terrorizes second-level defenders and looks for extra work. Our next 5-star is the number 9th player in this year's recruiting class. He's a quarterback and he goes by the name of Cade Klubnik. Now Cade is from Texas and he's the number 9 overall player and the number 1 quarterback in this year's class. And he signed with Clemson. Now Cade is expected to compete for day 1 snaps at Clemson once he arrives on campus. Cade Klubnik is the top rated signal caller in the 2022 cycle and a gem of Clemson signing class. The Tigers need instant impact players offensively, and Klubnik certainly has a chance to grab the position by the horns. Now our next 5-star is the number 8 overall player in this year's recruiting class, Zach Rice, who is also the number 1 offensive tackle. Now Zach is from the state of Virginia and has signed to play at the University of North Carolina. Zach Rice chose the Tar Heels over Virginia, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. He's one of the 2 5-stars North Carolina has signed in their 2022 recruiting class. The next 5-star on the list is CJ Hicks, a linebacker out of the state of Ohio. Now CJ is the number 7 overall player and the number 2 linebacker in this year's class, and he signed with the Ohio State. CJ Hicks verbally committed to Ohio State in May 2020 and never wavered, helping recruit others to Buckeyes this cycle. All that hard work led others labeling Hicks as the Captain Buckeye in the 2022 recruiting class. Our next 5-star is Domani Jackson, a cornerback out of California. Now Domani is the number 6 overall player and the number 2 cornerback in this year's class. And he signed to go to USC. It came down to Alabama, Michigan, and USC for Domani Jackson, who ultimately chose the Trojans. He wanted to be a part of something new with the Trojans. Our next 5-star is Evan Stewart, a wide receiver out of the state of Texas, number 2 receiver in this year's class. And he signed to Texas A&M to play his college ball. Clocked at a 10.58 in the 100 meters, Evan Stewart can fly. Field speed reflects track speed and yields dangerous vertical field stretching threat. Equally dangerous in run after catch situations thanks to explosive athleticism. And our next 5-star is Harold Perkins, a linebacker out of the state of Texas. Now Harold is the number 4 overall player and the number 1 linebacker in this year's class. And he's committed to Texas A&M, but not signed. Harold Perkins committed to Texas A&M during an Under Armour All-American game, but took a recent visit to Florida and raved about his time with the Gators. He plans to make his final decision on February 2nd. And I personally think that Harold Perkins will decommit from Texas A&M and sign with Florida, as his official visit was crazy according to him, and they had packages for him playing all over the defense, and they even said he can play some wildcat quarterback if he wanted. And I think that's all he wants to hear. He can play everywhere on defense and get a couple snaps on the offensive side of the ball as well. Now moving into the top 3, we have the number 3 ranked player in this year's class, a wide receiver out of Missouri, Luther Burden. Now Luther, like I said, is the number 3 player and the number 1 wide receiver, and he has signed to play for the Missouri Tigers. The highest rated offensive player this cycle, Burden is an impossible to guard wide receiver with speed, size, and agility that will make him an instant threat in the SEC. Our next 5-star is Walter Nolen, a defensive lineman out of the state of Tennessee. Now Walter is the number 2 overall player and the number 1 defensive lineman in this year's class, and he has signed to play for Texas A&M. One of the several 5-stars in Texas A&M all-time Hall, Walter Nolen is the diamond prospect as the number 2 overall player in the 2022 cycle per 24/7 Sports. He'll make his presence felt early in College Station at a program on the rise under Jimbo Fisher. And to cap off our 5-stars, we have the number 1 player in this year's class, Travis Hunter Jr., a cornerback. Now Travis is from Georgia, and like I said, he's the number 1 player and the number 1 cornerback in this year's class. And he has signed with Jackson State and Deion Sanders. Top ranked player in the country per 24/7 Sports. Travis Hunter left Florida State for Jackson State and Deion Sanders during the early signing period, a move that rattled the college football recruiting world. Hunter has been given the generational talent label. And there you have it, every 5-star in this year's recruiting class, and what school they're signed to, what school they're committed to per Harold Perkins, or schools that they're leaning towards, with the 3 5-stars that's not committed or signed yet. Comment below who do you think is the best 5-star in this list, and who you think will have the best impact at whatever school they choose to sign with or have already signed with next year. And like I always say, if you love college football or college football recruiting, go ahead and subscribe to that channel right now because it's free. And drop a like for your boy. But until next time,